Episode 4 of the Aaron The Speaker podcast. We're live right now on South Beach. We're right outside the world-famous Clevelander. It's right in between us right there. There are people rollerblading right past us. And it's a pretty wild situation, to say the least. And in this episode today, we're going to talk about the confusion that we have. We're going to talk about what it looks like right now in South Beach. And we're going to end the episode with trying to combine those two things together. So I guess, to start the episode, I'd like to say that we just parked all the way down by South Point Park. And we walked all the way up South Point Park, all the way up, I think it's Collins, if I'm not, Ocean Drive. And we witnessed, what the current state of affairs is in Miami Beach. And I would say current state of affairs is back to normal. What do you think?
Well, I am on the podcast probably not because I'm the person that goes to South Beach every weekend.
Well, first of all, you're on the podcast because you're my brother.
Yes.
And I needed a co-host for today's episode.
Yes.
Shane is a current student at the University of Miami, getting his degree in physical therapy. One of the nicest people I know, as innocent as a rabbit.
Ooh.
And trying to have the same diet as one too now. Everything now with Shane is no sugar, no meat, plant-based, organic-based diets that require reading literature for digestion.
Listen, I've caused more confusion to the situation by trying to figure it out from a different standpoint.
And what standpoint is that? That of a medical standpoint?
That one of a critical standpoint.
You see, me and Shane argue back and forth, I being a college professor formerly, but a studier of communication, of rhetoric, of philosophy. Shane comes from more of the school of science now, of medicine, of statistics. So we have different points of views.
We do.
On things, but we find common ground in most places, and typically those common ground things are human rights and, equal rights for all human beings. But how we get there, we differ. So now that we're on South Beach, people know a little bit more about you. You're the science guy. I'm the communication guy. What did you see walking up and down South Beach? Right, right now we're on July 12th. Things are opening up. We're at 50% capacity. Do you think this is 50% capacity?
Yeah, I would say a little less.
Less. Okay. So we're at less than 50% capacity. And do you think about, are people following the CDC's guidelines?
I think I'd have to look up the CDC guidelines to know exactly.
You know what they are. They're around the thing of, are people staying 6 feet apart?
That they don't know? That
Yes.
they are not been in contact with?
Correct.
No.
Are people wearing protective masks in situations in which they might be closer to people who are typically outside their circle?
I would say it could be a 50-50.
Okay, 50-50. And granted, we're by the beach, right? And people feel like they're outside. They're outdoors.
Mm-hmm.
They don't need to wear the mask maybe as much. But when it comes to the restaurants, there are people who are sitting fairly close to each other at tables who may not be at the recommended distance, who may not be wearing masks. And does that matter? Are we at a point where that doesn't matter?
I would just... this moment is so confusing.
I'm so confused.
It's so confusing. And even from a health provider standpoint, and I'm not a health provider yet, I'm a student. I do not know everything. And even when I am a master,
You're a citizen.
I'm a
You're
citizen.
a citizen of America. Yeah.
I'm a citizen of America. I am a person who is just as confused as anyone else.
Right.
So my background is examining things.
Okay.
And being able to go, what is right for you in this moment? Let's all take a moment and say we're not all the same. We're not
Right.
all going to be in the same position.
Right.
We're going to all differ a little bit.
Okay.
And that being said, we also want to have a common ground as well.
Okay. And what do you think that common ground is right now with this COVID? That we're all confused. I think that's the common ground.
That's the common ground.
I think the common ground is all confused because I talk to people and you talk to people and people within our own family are like, it's fine. I'll take the risk. I got to do what I got to do. Now, granted, that person's an artist, but we have other ones who are more like you and me. I'm a cautious person. I'm scared all the time of this. But at the same time, as I want to push the barriers, I want to push the envelope, and I want to fight back and say, there's got to be a point where we say, we got to, we can't just stay inside all the time. We can't all just live in our bubbles for the rest of our lives.
Right.
And the worst part is that the World Health Organization comes out with the article earlier this week. I think it was Tuesday or Wednesday. They say it is very rare for people who are asymptomatic to transmit the virus, right? And then on the other end, 20 hours later, they go, we take that back. We're just kidding. We don't know jack. That's like having two divorced parents, and one parent says one thing and the other parent says another. The child's going to choose whichever one answered the question that favored what they wanted.
Right. And I would like to say that news either will give you the facts or they will give you an opinion or analysis of the facts.
Well, first of all, we already know, as a media literacy person, when it comes to news, you got to first ask who owns that particular publication. Who's the owner of it? The second thing you got to ask is who's the journalist? If you can't look up the journalist and look at their past work, which takes a very quick, easy opening a second tab Google search, you can find, is this person always writing about health? Or they did recently start writing about health? Have they always written about politics, or did they start recently writing about politics? And if they have, what have been the titles of their articles? You get a feel of what they write about. But that's very quick off the bat. The moment you see a news article, you should say, first, where did it come from? Two, who wrote it? At the bare minimum.
Yeah. And so I think, why we're talking about the news, why it's important to even talk about these things is because we don't confused on what we should do at this moment.
We're concerned.
We don't know what we should do.
Right.
Our behaviors are different.
What do you think we should do?
What do I
Your
think
answer's always like stay inside.
No. I think my answer is
be on the side of caution. As a healthcare provider, you want to cause no one harm. You take an oath to cause nobody harm.
That is true.
So you always end up on the side of less risk to lower the potential for harm.
Yes. We are always we're trying to rule out risk that is that is preventable.
Okay. Is this preventable on South Beach? Like, I'm not saying there's a right or wrong, but how do you feel as a healthcare provider? Are people putting themselves in harm's way out here? What do you think?
Look, we could all imagine,
From a black guy.
And
trying to okey doke us.
Yeah.
South Beach, you gotta get used to it. This is the beach. I love it. But are people keeping themselves out of harm's way? Can there be a harm for too much isolation?
Yes. But to answer your first question, what are you asking in the sense, like, risk is all around us.
Correct.
As a health standpoint, depending what you come in with, you're already at a certain amount of risk.
Okay.
So if I could help anyone in this moment,
yep,
I think the best advice is to learn about health.
Okay. And
why is that important? But
where do you learn about health, first of all? Because everyone's going to say no one really there's no center anymore. Everyone goes, like, when you say this is the authority of health, people go, Asta, I can't trust that. Did you know? No, there's no.
Greatest thing you
no
ever
one
told
agrees
me.
on anything anymore.
Right.
So when you're like, oh, the CDC, people go, but doesn't the government own the CDC? I'm like, yes. And they're like, but isn't the government corrupt? I'm like,
But let me ask you something.
but like,
Does the government own your body?
Yes.
Like they detect,
They
like
give
if
me
you're
a
gonna
social
blink.
security number. They know who I am, where I am,
No,
and if I try to commit
but I'm
suicide,
saying,
they'll
like,
put me in jail.
Do they make
They
your
own
heart
my body.
Do they make you breathe?
They can stop me from breathing. We don't even want to go there. I feel like this is going down a bad path. They can. They definitely did.
I think the
This
best
is why
advice,
people are protesting and rioting because people stopped because they took away someone's breath legally.
and that's what I'm.
The government
what,
owns your breath, and
what I'm
that's what we're
saying
fighting
is-
against.
What I'm thinking is,
are
you
you
told
trying
me
to
to
say?
journal,
Journal.
right? That's an
Yeah.
important message for people to think about.
Because of interpersonal communication, how you talk to yourself.
And I think a big part of your health is journaling about your health.
Okay. So like okay.
Let's
so
just make
how
that
do you,
an
but how do you
easy-
look up health? What would you recommend to someone right now as a healthcare professional student, as a citizen, not as a doctor, as a someone in doctor training?
I would say go to your PCP,
What's that?
your primary care physician.
Okay. What if you can't do that right now? A lot of them are doing telehealth.
That's fine. Talk to your doctor.
And what should you ask?
Ask them what is the way that, why not talk to more physicians about what's safe, where should I go to eat?
Is that free? You got to pay for that, you think?
You have insurance.
What happens if you don't have insurance? Okay, let's
you
say
don't
let's
have
first
insurance?
let's first head down the rabbit hole. People have insurance.
Yeah, get a
You
physical.
can call your physician and ask them, how do you
get a-
stay safe during COVID?
I would ask to get a physical. A physical is a general screening of your health.
Okay.
This is important because
Right now, you think it's important to go
to get a
and
physical. Yeah.
Okay.
Students get physical all the time to be in school.
Okay.
So,
Get a physical.
Get a
Step
physical.
1. What's step 2?
step 2 is getting resources from healthcare providers that you can look at on your own time, and then take a track on what. And slow, just make it slow, easy.
So you're expecting people to not watch the latest episode on Netflix and instead spend their evening looking up academic resources on medicine. You think that is a realistic?
I think realistically, in the morning when I wake up, the first thing I like to do is take a big stretch.
Okay, so
And-
stretching is something people can do.
Well, no. In the morning, I care about my body. For some reason, right when I wake up, I'm very, particular when it comes to, like, my senses. At night, I'm more, like you said, I want entertainment. I've gone through a whole day of stress.
Yeah.
I'm not really in the mood to rewind, even though maybe at the very end of your day, and you can rewind back to your body. But in the morning, you really are aware consciously that you've just woken up.
Okay.
Some people, get out of bed and want to watch Netflix right away. Cool. I have no problem.
So you're saying you wake up and you stretch.
And read an article.
I've seen you stretch. You roll out the yoga mat. You do that.
Yeah, and I journal and I write and
How long does that take you in total?
journaling 5 minutes, 5 to 10 minutes.
Okay. You write it or you type it?
I will write in the morning. I like to handwrite.
Handwrite. Okay. So then you have people handwriting their feelings and their health. Then they're waking up in the morning and they're taking advantage of the morning by writing and stretching.
And learning about health.
How do you learn about health?
That's what I'm
How
saying. In the
does
morning,
average person
in the morning,
who
I
is
like to
not
do
concerned.
brush my teeth, right? I get up and I take care of my personal hygiene. I then have breakfast. These are all components to your health that you already do. So how do we just enhance those moments to get them a little better and read a little extra in that 5 minutes when you're getting ready to, you take your piss or you go to the bathroom and you're on the toilet for a little bit. Instead of looking on your phone, look up an article about your health. And maybe then
So you're
can
saying
add
you
a
want
little
people
more
to just
resource.
take their phone instead of going on TikTok or Instagram
Yeah,
to
and
just Google what? What would they type into a Google search?
I would type in
Exactly.
10 best morning routines.
Okay. Is that going to be someone's opinion? But yes, but you're saying by getting different people's opinions, you could formulate
You
your
can find
own.
another one. You can look up something that you can add to yours. And if you're a skater or if you're a runner or whatever activity you like to do, if you're, I don't know what people do functionally with their bodies, but you can find a ton of routines probably that other people do that help them with those functional activities. And that's what my job as
so
a physical therapist is.
peer-to-peer knowledge sharing through internet articles,
magazines,
videos,
whatever you like. And a lot of these are free resources, and then it goes back to your own health. Even though you see your physician for maybe 12 minutes and you've talked to him, or an hour, whatever it is, you then take into your life that every day I'm going to do a little documentation at the same time. I'm going to actually put in a little, proof that I am following through with these things. And that creates a genuine change.
So you're becoming a self-psychologist. Like, you are psychologizing yourself. In a sense. You're tracking your behavior and your feelings and using that data to formulate an overall perspective of how you feel.
Yeah, I think giving the independence, or the ability to independently do it, creates power and a sense of purpose to your life that is in your hands. You're in control of it. You get to get absorbed. You get to see the results. You get to see the change. And nothing better can you do in your moment than really take a moment to understand yourself. Why not? Why not get to know yourself better? Because this is the person you are with every single moment of the day.
So why do you think people struggle with it? Because they watch magazines, because they read articles that
we compare ourselves.
And we compare ourselves. I am a guilty man of that. I am so guilty of comparing myself to others. Like, I can achieve the highest successes in my life. I can become, I could work for the NHL and become the arena host for the Florida Panthers. I can work for Bang Energy and travel the country. I can, host a New Year's Eve event in Bayfront Park with Pitbull and still feel inadequate because of comparing myself to other people, saying like, I'm not as active on social media. I'm not posting as much. So at the same time where you're saying look up articles, you're also having to battle the fact that phone is causing you to compare, and you don't want to look up the article. You want to look at your competitors.
I want to get wins throughout the day. You're going to get, easy wins throughout the day keeps you doing good.
Okay, so what would you define? So you're saying I wake up, morning, 2, stretching, 3, now we're finding easy wins.
Yeah, easy wins is simple things.
But what about people like our brother, who is okay with, not when we're like making your bed is an easy win. He goes, well, I like my bed messed up. Okay, then that's a win for me. How do you define wins?
Whatever you think it is. It's in your hands. Remember, I give you the power. If I could say anything, I'm really just trying to give people power to them. All I want them to feel is that it's in their hands. Their locus of control is in their hands. The more you can understand that, the better you are to be able to move in a fashion that is going to have you less confused.
I think that's common sense, and I think that even though it's common sense, it still doesn't matter. People won't do it because of some unforeseen reason that we really can't describe. People really resist the idea of control, even if it's controlling themselves.
Resist the idea of control.
Yeah.
Well, I'm just saying,
being out of control feels more powerful to people than being in control and being disciplined.
Interesting. So out of control to you means no discipline. But I think...
But like, if everyone woke up every day, and everyone was like, they woke up, they instantly made their bed. They instantly did stretching, and they instantly journaled. We'd all be like Jean-Claude Van Damme. We'd all be like, we'd be in the morning doing leg kicks up to the sky in a complete split. We'd be in the kitchen across our countertops in a complete split, making our coffee, karate chopping wood, and then journaling about our feelings. We know that we can't live in a utopic society.
Well, the thing is,
that.
For me, what I see a lot is when you get really, really sick, the win is just getting out of bed.
Yes.
Getting out of bed.
And I think you're trying to address the fact that as a physical therapist, you deal with a high population of people that are dealing with physical ailments that cause them to be taken away from normality.
And their wins are getting out of bed, going to the bathroom,
But isn't it sad that most people do not realize that that's the case until they have something taken away from them?
Right, and that's what I'm just saying. Just take a general idea of how much you're able to do on a normal basis that your body does for you. And
so gratefulness. So we're becoming a motivational speaker. This is becoming a Tony Robbins podcast episode.
what I think is just that we get
I hate
we
I hate that. I hate that it all boils down to some motivational stuff. I don't think that's the case. I think it's a lifestyle change, and I think that COVID has affected people's lifestyles. But then again, we're opening up and we're seeing that people want to go right back to the way things were. And I'm watching hundreds of people walk up and down these streets, many of them not wearing face masks, you know, and I wonder to myself, you know, what's going to happen with this, you know? What's going to happen?
Okay, so with COVID, right?
We know there's a raising of infection rates. Now, this could be because of testing. You know, we don't know. We're not academic scholars in this sense. We're only citizens who just get the news and watch our social media. But from what I can see, I'm watching articles being published talking about how cases are going up, and governors are saying we're not going to close because people have, you know, fatigue from quarantining, that they cannot take quarantining.
So fatigue, all these things that you're talking about, right? This is
because
all about
it's
health.
Sitting inside is affecting people's lifestyle.
Let me ask you, do we want to be more aware of our health? Is that a good thing for the society?
I don't think we do.
So you think in this moment, when a giant pandemic goes around, we shouldn't become more health conscious?
I think we should, but I don't think we're becoming health conscious in the way you are thinking of health conscious.
My thinking of health conscious is
unrealistic, in my opinion.
Everyone can take the initiative to document at least how they're feeling, if they're getting a cough, are they feeling, you know, a fever? Like, they're asking me when I go to a physical, hey, do you have a recent signs and like, do you have these
when
things?
I get those questionnaires, I just click no for everything.
Right.
Quickly, because I don't have the patience to read that whole thing. It's just like 2 or 3 pages of just checking those boxes, and I just go no. But
that's because you haven't already taken it upon yourself to make that already a daily, or not a daily thing, but to be on your mind consciously.
I'm the one who suggested the journaling to everybody. I'm I'm professor of communication.
Health-wise.
Yeah, I'm terrible health. Look at my posture now. I can't sit up straight. I look like a skeleton.
No, but okay. It's not about if you're either bad or good health. It's just being aware of health at this moment.
I'm aware of health. But at the same time, I'm aware that people have to go out and take risks because that's...
Of course.
But am I wrong? That's what I'm saying. Sometimes I get angry at myself. I go, am I blind? Am I blindly going, we need to take risks? Like, or am I, off with that thinking? And should I be saying to myself, am I only saying this because I'm feeling the fatigue? Am I blind to myself? In communication, if you ever want to look it up, we have the Johari window, which is like talking about what you know about yourself and what others know about you. And one of the Johari window panes is blind, meaning that you and other people are unable to see a particular circumstance. Ring the bell, school's in session. And so, am I blind to my own problems?
Yes.
Here it comes. Here it comes. That's it. Ride that bicycle with a fucking muffler, like a 92 Honda that had it sawed off from a junkyard.
Hey,
the car sounds like, it's about to race in the preliminary episodes of Fast and Furious.
Listen, I want to talk about how more people have been more active. But let's go
people
back.
Have stopped.
Let's go back to that comment we were just
the
on.
Johari window. Am I blind to it? We
all have certain biases.
I get worried that I'm biased to the things that I'm biased about, and I'm biased to that, so I can't see my bias.
Yes, this is the other thing I want to address. Document what your biases are.
But that's what I'm saying. With the Johari window, as a professor of communication, I'm going to tell you that there is going to be biases that you can't see and that others can't see.
Yes.
That it's blind to everybody.
Yes.
That everyone is blind to that bias until the right place at the right time when that bias is exposed, and you go, "Oh shit!
I didn't realize
that I was."
Once you do, it changes you, right?
So as I'm saying, am I biased to this COVID thing? Because if 99% of the people say we don't give a shit.
Yes.
We're out here. We don't care. Mm-hmm. The mortality rate has been 100,000 deaths. So maybe there's 100,000 more. And in the population of 350,000, not to sound insensitive, that's a very low death rate. Do we change everything that we do for COVID and for how long is something that worries me. as a communications professor, I am concerned that isolating people will make people no longer be able to identify with their peers. A lack of identification causes a lack of understanding. A lack of understanding causes fear. Fear causes more hatred. We need people to be around people to have a copacetic society. The more we interact with people of different ethnicities, people of different genders, the better off and more calm.
And I see what you post on social media, and you remember the times when we were like that. But
I remember the times.
Let me ask you something.
Remember the times.
Let me ask you something. I agree with you. We all have to come to the table.
We first met. I just wanted to get my singing in.
We have to come to the time. We got to come to the table together and say, what is the risk of everything, right? Social isolation, health, But
everyone's getting this information from different places.
But
when you watch Fox, very different than when you watch CNN. It's not even closely the same.
Agreed. But so the table comes around, and another thing I want to add to this conversation is get a total, as much perspective as you can, so that you can make the most clear decision. And again, it goes back to being individual power. Go see Fox, go see CNN, go see every single thing, and then make a judgment on your health.
So you're saying the more information you absorb, the better chance you have of making a clear, critical decision.
I would agree with that. Yes,
I would agree with that too. And that's why I'm not for media censorship. I'm more for media education.
Correct.
I don't want to censor media. I want to keep media open, but just inform the population on how to navigate such media.
Yeah.
Do you think these people out here believe that they are informed enough and they are making a calculated decision? Are you confident as a citizen that these other citizens have absorbed enough information that you are confident?
No.
You think they're uninformed and more just being out here to just defy?
It goes back to also we need a sense of what keeps us as a society in survival mode, and in a sense like we all have certain habits and patterns, and we're going to do those.
Yep.
So we're going to continue to do those. I'm just curious, can we shift any type of paradigms in this moment? Or are people just going to behave how they're always going to behave?
I think they're going to behave how they always behave. I think there'll be a slight change. But then again, change happens, and we talked about this last night, and I'll mention it right now. School's in session, ring the bell, okay? Mm-hmm. Exigency. In communication terms, we have this term called exigency, right? Mm-hmm. And exigency is used in understanding persuasion. Now, persuasion, like we talked about last night, can be persuading someone to change their belief or persuading them to dig in deeper to what they already believed.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Persuasion is not always changing someone's mind.
No.
Persuasion can be deepening someone's belief.
Reconfirming confirmation bias.
Not confirmation bias, but good hot topic word.
Yeah.
Exigency, if I could define it the best, I've been trying to do it the last couple of days, is you drive past Burger King every day on the way home from work, right? You see the Burger King, you know what it stands for, you understand that it serves burgers and food for cheap, you understand that it's moderately tasty, and you can get it and it's always available to you, but you don't, right? You drive past Burger King every day and you stop and you go home, you go to Publix, you go shopping, you make food, you think of something else. Maybe you don't even think of the Burger King whatsoever. You drive past it every day. Then one day, you drive past Burger King and there happens to be, right? The happen to be's. You happen to be hungrier than normal. You happen to be craving a burger. You happen to be lazy and not wanting to cook that night. You happen to be having to run to a meeting. You happen to be all these circumstantial happen to be's all of a sudden make the logo of Burger King persuasive when it was once not persuasive.
Yes.
That same symbol that has always been there, always been around, that wasn't persuasive, became persuasive. And you pull into a Burger King and you get your burger. That is the best way that I can determine how to say it to the people who haven't studied it. Exigency. Ring the bell. So the point is, like we talked about last night, sometimes people aren't always ready, and everyone in the population is not always ready to be moved because they don't have enough happen-to-be's lining up. For this circumstance, with the COVID and with the protests and with the murder, there just was enough happen-to-be's
to get
to
people.
persuade enough people to do something.
Right. So I think the two happen to be right now is civil rights, like you said, and
Not working.
health, and unemployment.
Unemployment, fear about health, distrust in the government, and murders equals protesting.
Yeah, and this comes to the point where we need to think about, as a society, what we really want going forward.
Correct, and that's going to come. But I think that everyone wants a microwave fix, and everyone's always like, why can't we find a solution now? I'm like, you can't decide on where to go to dinner with your spouse for 3 hours. How are we going to decide as a nation how to treat people? Like, to make decisions, it's a democratic process. The Asian culture is more of a collectivistic culture, according to studies in ethnography and sociology and communication. We always define their cultural realm as more collectivistic. They make decisions as a whole. They don't think as individual terms as we do. We're pick yourself up by the bootstrap. You know, help yourself. Other people will walk all over you, but you got to help yourself. In Asians' cultures, they tend to be more collectivistic, and also South American. They make decisions as a group. We struggle making decisions as a collective because we're very mixed. We're both collectivistic and both individualistic, but we tend to lean on individualism when it comes to rights.
I think
So right now it's just very difficult. And people want a decision, and you want the protesting to stop because you're scared people are putting themselves in harm's way as a healthcare practitioner.
I don't say protest to stop.
Not stop, but you want people. You're worried. You're worried, genuinely
I'm
and honestly
bee.
worried.
I am a worry bee.
You're a worry bee. You're worried about them getting at risk of COVID and the government maybe not helping them. You're worried that, you know, they may be protesting and injure themselves in the protest, that maybe they get riled up in groupthink and they may do something that, you know, happens in groupthink that nobody can anticipate. The spontaneous things that, you know, are in good measure but end up happening to be bad. Like you go to play a pickup football game and someone gets tackled and breaks their collarbone. No one did that maliciously, but there was a risk at playing tackle football with no pads.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Wherever we go, we're going to have risk. Wherever we go.
So do you think
there's no
elimination
of risk?
Do you think that we're doing it right, or do you think I'm worried for a second wave personally, and I'm bracing for it. You know, it's kind of one of those things that you just know is going to happen. It's like having an earthquake. You know there's going to be a seismic shock afterwards. You know there's multiple ripples in tectonic plates moving. I would say a pandemic could be related to a tectonic plate.
A great ability for us is to be prepared. Right? We can prepare ourselves. And now, how do you prepare?
You said one, to go back to the health thing, you said one, wake up in the morning and take care of your health in the morning, first and foremost. Two, you said stretch your body. Make it, you know, flexible, durable, get your blood vessels moving, get your bones moving, get your tendons and ligaments going. Refresh that spinal cord, right? And then three, you said absorb information and also journal. Those are your three things that you kind of remedied, you know. And I think that if people followed those three simple steps, very simple steps, nothing beyond that, everything else will fall into place.
Look, as every individual out there is going to never judge a book by its cover, right? Because everyone's going to have a different thing going on right now.
But those three things are something I feel like everyone can get behind. Waking up in the morning and stretching is something that everyone can do.
Mm-hmm.
You know, whether it's stretching your arms, your fingers, your legs, your toes, your tongue, whatever. Just stretching.
My analogy is when you get up in the morning, the first thing you think about is your body.
Well, that's what my theory. Remember my theory is the three things that people have?
What's that?
Hunger, right? Their stomach.
Yeah.
Their spinal cord and their genitals.
Yes.
That's basically what a human being is, right? Your hunger for things, you want water, you want food, you want to eat, you know.
Yeah.
Then you know, eating makes you want to sleep and digest, you know. And then your spinal cord. Your spinal cord is like how your body feels, you know. Is it flexible? Is it durable? Is it in pain? You know, is it sleeping? Is it awake? Is it feeling fresh? Is it feeling upbeat or is it feeling down? And then the other thing is your genitals. You want things to happen with your genitals. You know, you want things to happen with your genitals.
Yes.
Those three things are our driving factors, and you just got to figure out how to talk to those three things to yourself. You got to wake up every morning. You got to go, hey, spinal cord, how you feeling? Genitals, what you want to do? We can take care of this now or later, but it's getting taken care of at some point.
Sometimes your genitals stop working, unfortunately.
And then you take that one off the list, and you only got two things to worry about. Life just became a lot easier. I can't wait to get older, and you know, this thing stops working. I feel like I make much clearer decisions.
I agree. So, I mean, we're probably going on 30 minutes here now, and
I'm getting bit up by mosquitoes.
I thought we would survive corona or maybe just the bugs.
Malaria. Or take hydroxychloroquine. What do you think? You taking it for COVID? I got malaria doing a podcast on South Beach.
I hope.
What do you want people to take away from this? Like, if anyone listens to this, our friends and family, someone listens to this, what do you want them to take away from this episode?
Empower the individual. Empower the self.
I agree.
Empower. Give yourself the most.
What are you doing? What are you doing tomorrow to empower?
So what I'm going to do tomorrow to empower is I'm going to study for my complex exam that I have. I'm going to study for my health promotion exam that I have.
Yep.
I'm going to read the news, and I'm going to take a broad brush and see Fox. I'm going to see InfoWars. I'm going to see CNN. I'm going to see MSNBC. I'm going to see Global Pop. I'm going to
Associated Press, BBC,
NPR. I'm going to listen to
Jazeera,
music. I'm going to
The Hill.
I'm going to listen to music, and I'm going to exercise. I'm going to stretch, and I'm going to write down what I eat. I'm going to eat my breakfast.
Jesus Christ.
I know. I am over the top because this.
But a lot of people are. It's fair.
I have to show this lifestyle as a professional. Now, other people's lifestyle like yours is entertainment.
I'm going to wake up. I'm going to make everyone breakfast because I'm the first one to wake up. I don't care what anyone says. Even though I'm the last one to go to sleep, I'm the first one to wake up.
Yes.
I'm going to make a breakfast, I'm going to have a coffee, and I'm going to sit at the computer and do the same thing. I'm going to read the news. The problem is what I don't do, what I need to do is I need to stretch my spine. I need to treat my spinal cord better. I need to stretch more. I need to exercise more. Those are my deficiencies, I'm going to edit this podcast.
Let's not say a deficiency.
I'm going to post. I'm going to try to get the Florida vote by mail. Vote by mail Florida Instagram account.
I'm going to get inspired as well. I'm going to get motivated in the morning, too.
Get motivated.
How do we get motivated? And I think we should end the podcast with that.
I inject Red Bull into your neck.
I thought that was what coffee was for.
Not enough.
So, I can't inject you. That's not in my license. But talk to your healthcare professional. So
we'll wrap it up. That's good. That's good advice. I think South Beach is definitely an interesting place right now.
Yeah.
Business is trying to get back to normal. I get it. I understand. We got to make money. People got to spend money. People got to get out. But our fear is that we are confused with what to do and what's the right thing to do. And I think that only time will tell.
I agree.
Until then,
stay safe.
Protect yourself.
Be informed.
And empower yourself.
And keep going.
That's good.
Cheers.
That's good.
I don't think we addressed. What was it? Was it just the background?
Yeah.
Ready? Take a microphone. Sit back down.
Stop. Hey, what's going on? Aaron here, and we just made episode 4 here on South Beach. I dragged my brother along. We talked about health. We talked about, how our confusion is happening in the world. And if you want to check out this episode and hear our opinions, we'd love to know your feedback. Leave a comment below. And anything you want to say?
No, just
all right.
Yeah.
Check out the episode, guys. Let us know what you think.